Hey, today we're going to talk about approximating square roots. So here I have a list of perfect squares, got some higher numbers there. Down here I have some perfect cubes. But we're going to talk about what happens when we're trying to find the square root of something that is not a perfect square. So let's start with the square root of 36. So the square root of 36 is, well, let's see, is 36 on our list of perfect squares? Yeah, it is. So the square root of 36 is something we know. It is 6. It's a whole number, so we can find that pretty easily. But what if I asked you to find the square root of 35? 35 is not on our list. It is not going to be a whole number. So the answer is not just going to be, oh, it's 6, oh, it's 5, oh, it's 3. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to approximate kind of where it would fall. So there are ways to do this with a number line, but this is just kind of like a rough whole number approximation. So if I'm thinking about the number 35, where would 35 go? Would 35 go in between 4 and 9? Would it be in between 9 and 16? How about in between 25 and 36? Exactly, right? 35 would be like right about here, right? That's where 35 would go. So that means that the square root of 35 is going to be in between the square root of 25 and 36. So here's what we know. We know that the square root of 25 equals 5, right? We know that the square root of 36 equals 6. So the square root of 35 is somewhere in between one of those numbers. Which one do you think it's closest to? Is 35 closer to 25 or is it closer to 36? Well, it's closer to 36, right? Because it's like one away from 36. So that means that my answer is going to be almost 6. I would guess, I would approximate that the square root of 35 is probably, I'm going to do a squiggly line like Cher taught us, rolling with the homies. We're going to approximate that it is about 6. I would even say like 5.9, but it's going to be somewhere in between there. It's going to be almost 6, but not quite. Let's try another one. What about the square root of 85? So the square root of 85. So the first thing we're going to do is look on our list. Is 85 on our list of perfect squares? It is not. So 85 is not a perfect square. So we have to approximate it. So we have to see what is it closest to. Well, 85 is going to be somewhere in between here, right? 85 would go in between 81 and in between 100. What's the square root of 81? That would be 9. What's the square root of 100? That would be 10. So now I have to figure out the square root of 85. Is that going to be closer to 9 or closer to 10? Well, I think that 85 is only 4 away from 81, but it's 15 away from 100. So it's so much closer to 81 that my answer is going to be about 9. It's going to be approximately 9. It's not going to be exactly 9. It's probably like 9.2 or something. But if I had to say what whole number is it closest to, it's going to be closest to 9. We could also do it with cube roots. So if I said, what is the cube root of 30? Then I would look at my list of perfect cubes. Is 30 on the list of perfect cubes? Nope, not on our list. So we're going to have to approximate where is it closest to. I think it's going to be closest to 27. I think 30 would be closest to 27. So perfect cubes. 1 to the third power is 1. 2 to the third power is 8. 3 to the third power is 27. 4 to the third power is 64. So we know that the cube root of 27 equals 3. The cube root of 64 equals 4. And 30 is much, much closer to 27 than it is to 64. So what that means is that the cube root of 30 is going to be approximately, we're going to squiggle it, approximately 3. Like maybe a little bit more than 3, but not a lot. So it's going to be approximately 3 if I had to round it to the nearest whole number. And that is how we approximate square roots. See you next time. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can get all the alerts about the next video that I put up, and you can get it before everybody else. You could be ahead of everyone else in the class.
Post notifications.
Make sure you click to post notifications.